Okay, we're up. Council, please come to order. We'll be led by prayer by Alderman Nash.
Almighty God, we ask for your blessings upon the members of this council as we assemble here in this chamber to conduct the ongoing business of our city. With your guidance, we will strive to ensure that all our decisions are for the common good, and your inspiration will instill respect, compassion, and thoughtfulness in all of our deliberations. Give us the strength and wisdom to lead by example as the people's representatives, and that peace and harmony will mark all our proceedings and keep us faithful to the trust placed in us by the citizens of our community. Amen.
Amen. President Pro Tem Mark Betancourt, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tonight's meeting will be in compliance with the Governor's Executive Order 7B-1. And as usual, anyone who sent an email to us by 7 p.m. tonight, that is also part of our public record. If there was written correspondence and it arrived by 4:30 this afternoon, then it also will be part of the public record of this evening's meeting. If you're calling in, the number is 860-215-8140. And then the conference ID will be 403-8191, followed by the pound key. That is during general citizen comment and citizen comment on resolutions only. Thank you. And by the way, I'd like to extend a happy birthday to Alderwoman Stacey Gould to start off.
Thank you very much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you, Mayor. I made it to another one.
29 again?
29 again, yes. 39 again.
All right, at this time, I'd like to declare that citizen comment general is open. Again, the number is 860-215-8140.
Marvin Cerruto, 100 Star Street, Norwich.
Go ahead, sir.
Marvin Cerruto, 100 Star Street, Norwich, Connecticut, United States of America. 51 years ago, America placed Americans on the moon. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. Mike Collins commanded the Columbia. John F. Kennedy set the goal for this mission when he said, "We choose to go to the moon and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard." So, I have some proposals for you tonight that are hard. First and foremost, I'd like to talk about our school budget. For the next 2 years at least, there should not be an increase in our school budget. I'd like to see 3 years of no increase in the school budget. It's 60% of our $141 million annual budget here in the city of Norwich. It's come to a point where it's unacceptable, especially at this time during the pandemic. That should have been 0 increase. Recently, we've had a number of demonstrations here in the city. I'd like to remind everybody that our Constitution, First Amendment, says that we may peaceably assemble, and it says that we may petition our government for a redress of grievance, which is a settlement. While at those demonstrations, I saw some signs that I did not like very much, and it really shows that maybe our education system isn't providing for us. I saw children with signs that said, "No good cops." I also saw moms with shirts and signs that used the F word about Trump. Now, I'd like to remind everybody, Donald J. Trump is the President of the United States. He's also the Commander-in-Chief of our armed forces. Anyone who is in that office in the past and in the future has always gotten my full respect. And as for the state of Connecticut and the handling of the pandemic, I'd like to read you an excerpt from an article here by a lady who has a doctorate in jurisprudence. She's been to Yale and Cambridge and Stanford. And she writes, "The politicians' ignorance about the complexity of economic life was stunning. as was their hypocrisy. Every elected official, public health expert, and media pundit who lectured America about the need for an indefinite lockdown had a secure or essential job. Not one of them feared his employer would go bankrupt. Now, when it comes to our economics, our local economics, we are in the trenches of this war. And I just have a feeling that Hartford is not realizing what the trenches look like. They may say they do, but I don't believe it. And thank you very much for your time. Good evening.
Thank you, sir. The lines are open.
My name is Tanika Davis. Can I go?
Yes, please. The line is yours.
Hi, my name is Tanika Davis. I live at Prospect Street in Norwich. And we have two major issues here on Prospect Street. The first one is the intersection of Hickory Street in Prospect, where it's a two-way stop, is dangerous. I've gotten hit once, and I've been almost hit 4 other times. People think that when you get to the stop sign, that when they get to the stop sign, that you're going to stop coming on Prospect, and they automatically go. So this has been, I've been here 7 years. It has been an issue for 7 years. Our second issue is the speeding here on Prospect Street. Before the street was paved, it was a major issue, and now that the street is paved, it's even worse. We really could use some speed bumps on Prospect Street. I've also, consulted with my neighbors. I have petitions, and I really hope that, some awareness is raised on this issue here, because it's been going on for way too long. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Again, the lines are open for any comment you wish to share with us on any issue. This is your time.
Hello?
Good evening.
Oh, hi, thank you. My name is David Willis. I'm here with my wife, Karen. We're the property owners at 134 Prospect Street. And I just wanted to follow up on what our neighbor Tanika just said. We have noticed an increase in the speed of cars going up and down the road. And there are a lot of children here, and we're very, very afraid that someone is going to get seriously injured or killed. In regard to the intersection that Tanika has mentioned, I have had several close calls there. The only reason why I probably haven't had somebody run into me is because I live around here and I've known enough people have. We've had guests that have left our home and gone home that way and been in accidents. A couple of days ago, my wife and I were driving in the car, and a small white scooter ran right in front of us, never stopped at the stop sign with a little child on there. If my wife hadn't responded quickly, I hate to think of what could have happened. I noticed, actually this afternoon, that if a vehicle is parked right there near the stop sign, there's no way I think that there was a van there, so I don't think there's any way anybody would have seen that stop sign. There is a line in the road, but it's painted. It's faded with time, and I'm kind of hoping that somebody could paint something more pronounced or bring people's attention in some way to the fact that it is a four-way intersection where people are, people on Hickory do not have the right of way. So those are just the two issues that I wanted to bring up, and I also want to say that we do appreciate the road finally being paved after all these years. Yeah, we've been here for 9 years. We bought the house in 2011. And that's all. I just wanted to address the council. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Robert Maloff. I live at 1 Coit Lane in Norwich, Connecticut. I am also a member of the Norwich Golf Course Authority. and I would like to speak in favor of the ordinance to appropriate the $410,000 for the purchase of equipment for the golf course. As a member of the authority, I just want everyone to realize that the golf course is a major opportunity for folks to get recreation in the city. It brings a lot of folks in from out of town. And what this money does is it enables us to replace 11 pieces of equipment that are at the point where they can no longer be repaired in some cases, and in many cases, costly repairs have to be made. It also enables us to provide a fixed cost annually for the next 7 years, which is the payback period of the bond if it's approved. So I, again, would like to ask you all to vote in favor of the ordinance for the $410,000 for the golf course. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Peter?
Go ahead.
That would have been more appropriate.
I know. I didn't want to cut him off.
You got it.
Hi, this is Michael Lernick, and I live on Slater Avenue in Norwich, Connecticut. How are you all doing tonight?
Good evening.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay, great. So what I wanted to talk about this evening is a noise ordinance in the city of Norwich. We live in a residential area, and basically we are constantly getting loud noises from people driving by with their boom boxes in their cars at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. It's totally unacceptable. Also, on the same road on Slater Avenue, it's 25 miles per hour. People are doing 50, 60 miles an hour on this road. We have contacted the police department. We have contacted the chief of police, Mr. Patrick Daly. And basically, they were supposed to put a speed limit, like a flashing sign on our road, which they never did. And then they said they were going to put a black box on a telephone pole to identify some of the people who are speeding. That never happened at all. So my biggest concern, though, is I don't believe the city of Norwich has a noise ordinance. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct. However,
Hello?
we don't respond back and forth. We listen during this process. Please go ahead.
Hello?
Sir, we do not exchange comments. We listen to yours, but you're correct. There is no ordinance on noise
Oh,
limits.
I see. Okay, so if there isn't a noise ordinance, there should be, and I'm not sure how, we can start a petition here and have that sign, present that to the mayor, but something needs to be done, and I want you guys to be aware of it. I'm sure it's not only in this residential area, I'm sure it's throughout the city. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. The number to dial in, again, is 860-215-8140, followed by the conference ID 403-8191 and the pound key. The lines are open. This is our second request. Again, please call in at 860-215-8140, conference ID 403-8191, followed by the pound key. This is our third request. Please call in at 860-215-8140, conference ID 403-8191, and the pound key. Seeing that there are no other callers at this time, I would declare citizen comment general to be closed, and we thank you all for sharing your concerns this evening.
Public hearing number 1, an ordinance appropriating $410,000 for the purchase of equipment for the Norwich Golf Course and authorizing the issuance of $410,000 of Norwich Golf Course Authority internally funded debt or bonds of the city to meet said appropriation, and pending the issuance thereof, the making of temporary borrowing for such purpose.
Thank you. I declare this public hearing open, and at this time I would ask anyone who would like to speak in favor of this ordinance to please call in at 860-215-8140, followed by the conference ID 403-8191 and the pound key. The line is open. This is the second request. Those wishing to speak in favor of this ordinance, please dial the number 860-215-8140, conference ID 403-8191, and the pound key.
Yes, this is Robert Maloff. Apparently I jumped the gun during the general comment section. I'd like to reiterate what I said earlier about the being for the $410,000 appropriation for the Golf Course Authority. As I stated earlier, it's a 7-year payback. It enables the golf course to have the next 7 years of fixed costs with regards to equipment. There's no surprise repairs that will have to be made. It'll be just general maintenance, and it will allow the Golf Course Authority to budget that approximately $63,000 a year for the next 7 years to pay back the money to the city. I'd also like to wish Alderwoman Stacey Gould a happy birthday. I'll be available for any questions if that's necessary. I'm not sure how this process works over the phone, so I thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Maloff.
Again, we're still taking phone calls for those wishing to speak in favor of this ordinance revolving the Golf Authority and course. The number is 860-215-8140, followed by the conference ID 403-8191 and the pound key. Again, if you'd like to speak in favor of the ordinance, please dial the number 860-215-8140, conference ID 403-8191, and the pound key. At this time, I'm going to ask for the third request. Those wishing to speak in favor of this ordinance, the number is 860-215-8140, followed by the conference ID 403-8191 and the pound key. At this time, I would invite anyone who wishes to speak against this ordinance. Again, if you're not in favor of this ordinance, the number to call in is 860-215-8140, followed by the conference ID 403-8191 and the pound key. The line is open for you. This is our first request. If you wish to speak against this ordinance, please dial 860-215-8140, followed by the conference ID 403-8191 and the pound key. A second request. If you wish to speak against this ordinance, please dial 860-215-8140, conference ID 403-8191 and the pound key. This is our third request. If you wish to speak against this ordinance, dial the number 860-215-8140, followed by the conference ID of 403-8191 and the pound key. Seeing that there are no other callers this evening, I would declare this public hearing closed at this time. Thank you.
Second reading and action on the above proposed ordinance. An ordinance appropriating $410,000 for the purchase of equipment for the Norwich Golf Course and authorizing the issue of $410,000 of Norwich Golf Course Authority internally funded debt or bonds of the city to meet said appropriation, and pending the issuance thereof, the making of temporary borrowing for such purpose.
Thank you. At this time, I'd ask for a motion to bring this forward and to waive the full text and reading of the ordinance. Yes, Alderwoman Ella Miles, second. Alderwoman Stacy Gould. Discussion. Alderwoman Gould.
Thank you. I will be supporting this ordinance for the following reasons. The Golf Course Authority has quite a few pieces of equipment that are in desperate need of replacement. And in order to maintain our municipal course in a professional manner, this equipment needs to be replaced in the near future. By financing this capital improvement project internally, the City of Norwich will not need to issue any new debt associated with this proposed ordinance, and all of the costs will be borne by the Norwich Golf Course Authority and not the taxpayers of Norwich. The authority will repay the principal into the capital projects account, and the interest will be placed in the general fund. By funding these expenditures internally, the Golf Course Authority can start the process of procuring the necessary equipment they need immediately. By purchasing the equipment outright rather than leasing, the authority expects to save approximately $32,000 in interest expense and recognizes that the life expectancy of some of the equipment is longer than the terms of the 7-year repayment plan. The Golf Course Authority has managed their finances in a prudent and conscientious manner for a very long time, and I am confident they will continue to do so. The Norwich Golf Course is an asset to the City of Norwich and needs to be maintained to the high standard that the golfers have come to expect. Therefore, I will be raising my hand in favor of this ordinance tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there further discussion? Alderman Wilson.
Thank you, Mayor. Can I actually ask Josh to the podium, please? I just have a question. One question.
So mainly this is just for the audience. I know I've fielded a lot of questions about the purpose of bonding and whatnot, and I just kind of wanted you to give a general explanation as to the purpose of bonding to individuals.
Is that on?
Generally, the purpose of bonding is to pay for long-term assets in a way that matches their estimated useful lives.
Okay. And just the only reason I was going to have it asked the last meeting was because a lot of people don't understand that, with this purchase, again, I do support it as well. The amount that they are paying is going to be far exceeded in the life expectancy of the equipment. And I think, when we talk about taking care of what we have and making sure that it stays to a high standard, this is an example of us doing just that. It's something where they're going to save. It's a long-term investment, which is, I think, the purpose of bonding overall. This, I think, is something that we can continue to do, and I think they've done an excellent job in coming forward with an excellent plan on what needs to be replaced. So I will, too, also be supporting this. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Pro Tem Betancourt, please.
I also will be supporting the ordinance. I believe the golf course in and of itself is an asset to the community overall. It certainly provides some recreational opportunities. It brings people from outside of town in and spend some dollars here, which is always a positive thing, I think. I wish only that I could get out and use it myself a little bit more often. But that being the case, I think, like I said, the golf course is an asset to this community. It's run by the authority fairly well. We're not spending tax dollars in general in support of it. And this ordinance, this bonding ordinance, will be supported by the revenue from the course. So therefore, for all those reasons, I'm in favor of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there further discussion? Yes, Alderman DeLucia.
Josh, thank you for being here tonight. I don't know if you heard, but I paid you a significant compliment to you and your whole office regarding the memo, which is on our agenda under petitions and communications. And you and I discussed this, and I was very happy with the explanation that you gave, not only us but to the public, on how this whole mechanism or how this ordinance is going to come together. I'd just like to talk for a moment about the process. Am I understanding this correctly, that the Golf Authority worked in concert with your office and the treasurer, the city treasurer's office, to come up with a plan to replace this aging equipment that they have at the golf course?
Yes.
Thank you for that, and I thank the authority for that. That is exactly the expectation I have for all of our boards, commissions, and authorities, and frankly, all of our departments in the city of Norwich, that, you know, before we spend significant amounts of the taxpayers' resources, that conversations happen and decisions are made on how best to do that, what best serves the city and the community and its residents. And so I thank the authority, and I thank you for your hard work on this, because as I said at our last meeting, I think this is an excellent plan. This is exactly the kind of thing that we need to be doing to support and maintain our assets, but also to be financially and fiscally responsible to our constituents. So thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there further comment, discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Alderman DeLucia?
Yes.
Alderwoman Miles?
Yes.
Alderman Wilson?
Yes.
Alderwoman Gould?
Yes.
Alderman Nash?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Bettencourt?
Yes.
Mayor Nystrom?
Yes.
So that's 7-0.
Motion passes 7-0.
Petition and communication. Memo from the Comptroller regarding the proposed Golf Course Authority bond ordinance. It was previously received on July 6, 2020.
Yes. Go ahead, sir.
Again, I just want to thank him for giving a detailed report to put also into the minutes and records for individuals to refer back to the plan, and so that they understand the background of what is going on with the Golf Authority. I think it's important that the more information we give individuals that may have questions, that we provide it. And this is I believe, as Alderman DeLucia has said, an efficient way to run our operations. So thank you again.
Thank you. Just for the record, there's no motion tonight on this, as we passed the motion 2 weeks ago at our meeting receiving this. Now part of the public record with the passage of the ordinance here. Thank you.
Number 2, communication from the Chair of the Norwich Commission for Persons with Disabilities.
A motion, please, that this be received. Alderwoman Miles, second. Alderman Wilson. Is there discussion? Yes, Alderman Wilson.
I think the only thing I want to say, I want to thank Ms. Sherman again for all of the work she does for the community with disabilities. You know, for me, I have 3 siblings with disabilities, and knowing that we have advocates that are passionate about making sure that those with disabilities in our community have the same opportunities as every other resident in this community is heartfelt and appreciated, and I thank her as well as her commission for all the work that they do and continue to do and strive here in the city of Norwich. So I definitely want to commend her for the work that her and her commission continue to do.
Thank you. Question, Betsy, this is on the city's website, correct? For the public to see?
It went out to the public, yes.
Thank you. I just want to ensure that. Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
and then it will be put into the minutes.
Nothing. Is there any further discussion on the motion to receive? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Alderman DeLucia?
Yes.
Alderwoman Miles?
Yes.
Alderman Wilson?
Yes.
Alderwoman Gould?
Yes.
Alderman Nash?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Bettencourt?
Yes.
Mayor Nystrom?
Yes.
So that's 7-0.
Thank you. The motion passes 7-0. Number 3, please.
Number 3, a letter of resignation from John Paul Marine from the Norwich Golf Course Authority.
Motion, please, to accept this. Alderwoman Miles, their second. President Pro Tem Bettencourt. Yes, Alderwoman Gould.
I would like to personally thank J.P. Marine for his 30 years of service, dedicated service to the city of Norwich, from serving on the city council, harbor management, inland wetlands, and most recently the Golf Course Authority, and being a driving force behind the creation of the irrigation pond. I want to wish him much success in his future endeavors and thank him wholeheartedly for his service to the city of Norwich.
Thank you. Yes, President Pro Tem Bettencourt, please.
I'd like to echo what Alderwoman Gould just said, and it was my pleasure to serve with JP my first term in the City Council in 2005, and he was always been looked upon as someone that deserved respect and was willing to work with both sides, and he was in the other party, so that's saying something. But I just want to thank him for his service to the city, myself, and that I enjoyed working with him in the past, and I've always thought of him as a good person, and I wish him luck in the future.
Thank you, sir. Further discussion? Yes.
I'm just
Alderman
going
Nash.
to add on to the accolades. 12 years ago, John Paul sat at my pub and said that he thought I would make a good councilman, and I kind of laughed at him and thought it was a silly thing for him to come in when he told me he wasn't running again, and asked me if I'd be interested. And that first 2 years, I was kind of lost up here, but John Paul was very helpful. I could call him, talk to him about the things that were going on in the council, and he was always offering his advice and suggesting different ways of handling certain things. So I too want to thank him for all his years of dedicated service, and who personally assisting me in my first 2 years on the council. And I wouldn't be sitting up here if he hadn't come to me that day and asked. I never even thought about this, so I want to thank him.
Thank you. Yes, Alderman DeLucia.
Well, we certainly don't want this to sound like a eulogy, because God willing, John Paul will be around with us for quite some time. However, his decades of service and the contributions will have a lasting impact that will be felt for decades to come. They say that when you decide it's time to say goodbye, it's best if you can go out on top, and JP is doing that. I mean, that irrigation pond project over at the golf course will save the city money and reduce operating costs over there, and preserve drinking water in the city. For those who don't know, we were spraying treated drinking water, to grow grass on the golf course, and now this irrigation pond saves us from doing that, something to the order of $100,000 a year in savings and water costs. That's going out on top. And to echo my colleagues' comments, I just want to add my heartfelt thanks to JP for not only for all he's done, but for being a friend of mine and being a friend to the city of Norwich. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there further discussion, comment?
Alderman DeLucia.
Yes.
Alderwoman Miles.
Yes.
Alderman Wilson.
Yes.
Alderwoman Gould.
Yes.
Alderman Nash.
Yes.
President Pro Tem Bettencourt.
Yes.
Mayor Nystrom.
Yes.
7-0.
The motion passes 7-0.
City Manager's report.
Thank you. This is the City Manager's report for July 20th, 2020. Meetings were held via conference call or video, including updates from Governor Lamont and state representatives and legislators, Southeast Council of Governments, Southeast Transit, Connecticut Conference of Municipalities, Connecticut City Managers Association, and Restaurant Reopening Committee. The CTCMA meeting was held on police reform and included information about upcoming legislation. The State Judiciary Committee held an online web conference on July 17th concerning police accountability, and if approved as presented, it will have an effect on the city's budget. CCM is closely monitoring the legislation, and there will be a virtual meeting with the Legislative Committee on July 21st to address the members and the proposal, which I will be attending. Human Resources Director Bridget Marks, Assistant Human Resource Director Pat Olston, and I met virtually with representatives of the fire department to discuss upcoming negotiations. Due to the governor's travel ban, I advise employees that travel to high-risk states to quarantine for 72 hours and get a COVID-19 test before returning to work. Upon receipt of negative test results, employees may return to work. The City of Norwich Tax Office wants to thank everyone for their patience in this uncertain time. Despite all the changes that have been initiated, the majority of taxpayers have been very understanding. While the evening hours have had a steady flow of people, there has been a large increase in mail and payments made at People's United Bank branches. Norwich Human Services announced their partnership with Catholic Charities, Madonna Place, Norwich Public Schools, Norwich Public Utilities, Reliance Health, TVCCA, and St. Vincent de Paul Place for the $200,000 CDBG Norwich Cares COVID Relief Fund. Funds will provide city residents with temporary rental, utility, and bill pay assistance. For more information, contact Norwich Human Services at 860-823-3778. A three-way stop condition will be implemented at the Sherman and Asylum Street intersection. This change was suggested during a traffic study for the replacement of Sherman Street Bridge, which is scheduled for the spring of 2022, to lessen the delays for vehicles traveling west on Sherman Street. 8 proposals for the fire study were received, ranging from $38,527 to $93,000, and will be reviewed by the committee in the next few weeks. Attached are the quarterly reports from city departments, Otis Library, Norwich Community Development for the quarter ending June 30th, 2020, and that completes my report for this evening.
Thank you, sir. Are there any questions or comments of the city manager? Yes, Alderman Wilson.
Just knowing the special session is coming up, and I know we talk about the police accountability legislation. Is it possible that you could give us an email or something, possible effects it could have on our city budget with the legislation as written currently, and then later on updating it so that we kind of have an understanding of where things are?
I can do that. It might change before it's enacted, which is next week.
Absolutely.
There was a hearing on Friday, which went about 10 hours or so.
Yep.
So it was actively, there was active participation.
Excellent. And the only other thing that I have is, the last 2 days I've gone through the stop sign over on Sherman Street, and boy, can I tell you, it's definitely a change in traffic, much better flow, and I definitely want to thank Public Works and different individuals for enacting such a plan.
It's a good improvement. The sight lines always are difficult there to begin with. The only problem is in the beginning, people are not used to having a stop sign on Asylum, and the drivers on Sherman should be very careful to make sure that any vehicle comes to a stop before they assume that they go out from there. That's always a problem when a new stop sign is installed.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Stacy, go ahead.
Well, I just would like to add something that the city manager and the council may not be aware of. But the Director of Planning and Neighborhood Services, Deanna Rhodes, and with a very little bit of help from me, has been selling brand new tote bags for $10 to anyone who is willing to buy them. And we have a Facebook page called Bag Hunger in Norwich. A couple of weeks ago, we presented our Director of Human Services, Leanne Gomes, with $1,050 worth of gift cards at various denominations that we got from a local grocery store, and she's been giving it out to area residents in need. And we spent Friday, late Friday in the evening at the Basra Farmers Market selling more tote bags, and we are close to reaching our next goal of another $1,000. And I'll go get the gift cards and we'll give them out. We'll give them to Leanne, and she's been giving them out to people who are food insecure during this COVID crisis. So I just think that we need to give a good shout out to Deanna for coming up with this idea. And like I said, I've given her this much help. She has really done a tremendous job with this, and we should all be really proud of how hard our employees here in the city work doing other things that we don't see behind the scenes to help out the people who are in need in our city. And I just want to thank her.
Thank you for sharing those comments with us, and I'll extend our thanks to you too, because it's never easy doing something important like that by yourself. So you are certainly a big help.
Thank you.
Please.
Citizen comment on resolutions.
All right, I declare citizen comment on resolutions to be open. The number to call in is 860-215-8140, followed by the conference ID 403-8191 and the pound key. The lines are open. Again, this is our request to hear from citizens on the resolution on our agenda this evening. First request, are there any callers? Dial 860-215-8140, conference ID 403-8191, and the pound key. Going once. Again, the number is 860-215-8140, conference ID 403-8191, and the pound key. Going twice. The third request, number to call in is 860-215-8140, conference ID 403-8191, and the pound key. Seeing as there are no other callers, on our third request, we declare it closed.
New business resolutions. Number 1, relative to reappointments of regular members and an alternate member to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
A motion, please, to bring this resolution forward. Alderwoman Miles, is there a second? Alderwoman Gould, is there discussion? Yes, Alderman DeLucia.
I would just like to thank Mr. Kuprak, Mr. Martin, and Mr. Schlau for their willingness to continue to serve. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Further discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Alderman DeLucia?
Yes.
Alderwoman Miles?
Yes.
Alderman Wilson?
Yes.
Alderwoman Gould?
Yes.
Alderman Nash?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Bencourt?
Yes.
Mayor Nystrom?
Yes.
7-0.
Motion passes 7-0. No, it's hot. We'll take care of it later. It wasn't on
Motion to
the agenda.
adjourn.
Second.
Motion to adjourn by Gould, second by Nash. All those in favor, call the roll, please.
Alderman DeLucia?
Yes.
Alderwoman Miles?
Yes.
Alderman Wilson?
Yes.
Alderwoman Gould?
Yes.
Jackie?
Alderman Nash?
Yes.
President Pro Tem Bencourt,
Yes.
Mayor Nystrom,
Yes,
7-0.
we are adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Then I'm going to Dr. Tate's for whatever they have to do to me.